Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Jake, and I'm going to do another video on web scraping as a fundamental introduction. This time, instead of using the last script I just used the request module. I'm going to show you how to do the same thing with BeautifulSoup. So last time I imported the request module, stored a URL, created a page variable, called the get method, and then printed that, and it looks like this. So this is my output, which is great. This is just the raw HTML, right? This is just printing out the page. So um, there's there's some complexity around manipulating this data, um, and it's already organized. Um, this document has an organization to it. So if you use something like BeautifulSoup, you can do some pretty powerful stuff with only a few lines of code. So in this case, I'm just gonna from BS4 import BeautifulSoup and store a URL, but then I'm gonna do a request.get URL just like I did last time, except this time I'm gonna make a third variable soup, and I'm gonna use this BeautifulSoup class and then do the request.content, which is the property of the request, and then pass this HTML parser, which BeautifulSoup knows how to use. So this saves you a lot of work. And then I'm just going to print out this soup, the content, HTML parser of the content. But I'm also going to use Prettify, which is a nice way to format your stuff. So you saw what the previous one looked like. Here's what this soup script looks like if you print. So it looks pretty similar, right? Like it's pretty close to the same. I think the spacing, the indentation is different, but overall it's pretty close. So another option you might want to do is to use a simple for loop. And so I made for heading in soup.findAll all the h2 headings. Hey, print heading dot text and then strip it. So what is that? What's going on here? Okay, so inside of this HTML file, you'll see there's all these divs, right? Div class, and there's h2 header 2 classes, and there's h3 classes. So the h2 class, it says title is 5. This tells you the job title. This is like a job search. I'm looking at fake jobs. And the H3 class is a subtitle is 6 company, and that's who's hiring. So if I wanted to, in this script, I'm using H2. So if I wanted to list, hey, I want you to print this, but all I want is the H2 stuff. I just want to know the H2, but not, I don't want all of it. I just want the heading.text, and we're going to strip this out. And this is what this looks like, okay? So now you have a nice readable list of here's all the jobs that are being posted on this fictitious job board. And that's like, okay, well, now you might start thinking about different questions you might want to ask, or do you want to sort them alphabetically, or are there any duplicates, which there are. I think I saw one for like a web developer, a backend web developer, Python Django. So maybe you want to remove duplicates. So now you can start kind of adding to the script to clean it up a little bit and start manipulating the text. But this is a great way. You can store this in a variable or something. This is a great way to get started. So the last thing I'll show you, it's another common use case, is we don't want a list. We want to print the entire list, like a list, like a programming list, or an array. The difference really here, and you can go Google this, but lists and arrays, one major difference is that arrays have all the same data type inside them, whereas a list could have multiple data types in one list. It could have a string, it could have a number, it could have all kinds of stuff. So let's run this now, and you can see what this looks. So this looks messy, right? But this is actually pretty useful. because what we see here, it starts with a bracket, so we know it's a list, except we see the entire thing. H2 class title is Senior Python Developer, and then there's a comma, and then this is the next element in the list, and then this is the next element in the list. So now it may not be useful for this, but you can do the same thing for company, right? But when you start finding headers that have multiple objects inside of them, so where like a header could be a list or an array, and you can start using positioning to index whatever it is that you're looking for and really get specific with what you're wanting to look for. So what's nice about this is it's already a list. So um, yeah, so it just depends on how you like to manipulate the data, whether that's using the raw headings of H2 or whether you're just using like I said, a strip text version where you get like a nice readable list like this. But as you see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines of code. So it's pretty cool. You could do the same thing if I wanted to do the same thing for like uh, LinkedIn, right? And I'd be like, show me every header one that they have, and we're going to strip it all out and just list them. Maybe they don't have any header ones. There you go, so that they have one. So that's kind of nice. And the other thing you can do is you can actually do a find all, and you can put your own list in here. So I could do a list of strings. So like I'm gonna make a list of header 1, header 2, and header 3. Oops, forgot a quote here. And close this. So now I'm find all this list, and it will iterate through this list with each element in the list. Save that, and now if I run it, we can see, well, what other things do they have? And that's kind of cool too, right? So but you don't know which one's header 1, header 2, header 3, and you'd have to kind of like, well, let's delete this one, and I know that, now this is just header 2, header 3. But if I kind of take the same approach that I did in the bottom and go and make a list here, header 1, header 2, header 3, and do a list like that, now you can see exactly like, oh, this is header 1, this is header 1, this is a header 2, these are my header 2s, here's my header 3s. So it's organized a little bit better. So depending on what kind of information you're looking for, there's different ways to do this. And there's plenty of documentation online to take this from here and then go further and make it work for your use case. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. If not, good luck out there, have fun scraping, and be responsible about how you do all this.